All right, so it looks like it's 3 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. My name's Emily. I'm here from IES Abroad to share with you today about some of the programs that we partner with. We're going to be talking today about 2 French language programs. One is a semester program and one is a summer program. So a couple different options for you based on what you're looking for and what fits into your schedule as a French major or French minor. And I'll have time for questions at the end. So I'm just going to go through some information about IES Abroad and our programs today. Again, my name's Emily. I'm coming to you from my house in Chicago, and typically I would be coming to visit this time of year, so I'm sad that I'm not in Columbus, but I'm glad that we can connect virtually and be safer this way. And then you'll also have a study abroad specialist at Ohio State who will help you with any questions you have related to the application and Ohio State, and she's here. She'll join later if we need her help on questions too. So you're probably here because you already have an idea about why you might want to study abroad, but I just wanted to share a couple other reasons why students might think about studying abroad, especially as a French language student. Probably the top reason you're thinking about studying abroad is to really get those immersion skills and to gain a better understanding of the language. And you'll find that, being in France, in a French-speaking country, being surrounded by the language, you have so much chance to be immersed and not just hear French inside the classroom, but hear it all around you to really get your skills up. And outside of that, it's a way to get out of your comfort zone. You've already gained some independence going away to college, but study abroad has even different experiences and challenges for students to navigate. And we found that as students graduate from college, those who have study abroad experience are really more marketable in terms of having a study abroad experience. It makes them stand out and shows that they've really developed a lot of the soft skills that come from study abroad that are really sought out by employers as well. So a little bit about IES Abroad. We're known for being one of the oldest and largest study abroad organizations. So we were founded in 1950, and our first location was in Vienna, but we expanded to other European locations and around the world soon after that. And now we work all over the world with a bunch of schools in the US as well, including Ohio State. And Ohio State's part of our consortium, which means that students like you are eligible for our scholarships and financial aid opportunities, which I'll talk about a little bit more. We have scholarships and financial aid in a variety of categories for students. And with that, we have health and safety support before you go and while you're in country. We have a team of diversity and inclusion staff based here in Chicago who work with our students from underrepresented populations and to just make sure that students from any type of background feel ready and comfortable studying abroad. I think the other thing that stands out about IES Abroad is our staff, not only in the US but also overseas. So you'd be working with me from the time that you're thinking about an application and working on finding the right program. And then once you decide the program for you, you'll be partnered with an IES Abroad advisor who's specializing in your location. So they're really the expert to help you with everything pre-departure, which includes, if you need to get a visa, picking your classes, deciding on housing options, cell phones, like any questions you have the IES Abroad advisor to help you along the way. And then once you're there, we have staff in country who help with any questions you have. They help you explore the city and all different types of activities that they organize, as well as academic support and anything else that you might need. So I'm going to share the 2 programs that we work with Ohio State. The first one is a semester-long program. It's in Nantes. So it's in northwestern France, a few hours outside of Paris. And this is really an immersion program. So it's for students who have 4 or more semesters of college level French. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to have taken all 4 semesters at OSU. Like if you took some in high school before you go before you came to college, usually those can kind of count as well. So we can work with you to see if you're at the right level for the program. And that's just because we want you to be ready to take all of your classes in French, which I know might sound intimidating, but really it's a great way to gain more French language fluency. And the way that our program is set up makes it really user-friendly for students to have that experience. So we have what we call the IES Abroad Center. So it's a physical space located in the city of Nantes. And that's where you'll take most of your classes with other US college students who are, similar to you. They've studied French, but they're not native speakers. And this might be their first time taking, all of their classes in French. And our professors typically are native French speakers, but they know that this is kind of a new experience for our students. And excuse me. And so they really try to use some tactics to kind of ease you into doing all of your classwork in French and try to help make sure they're using vocabulary that everyone, can kind of understand to go through concepts that they're teaching you. So on the program, most students take 5 classes. One would be a required French language course in grammar, and then your other courses are up to you. We call them area studies courses, so it could be an art history course, economics, poli-sci, taught in French. Your other option is also, if you want to get a little bit of taste of like the French education system, you can take a class at the local university, which is the University of Nantes. And in that case, you'd be taking a class alongside local students. And it's just a unique way to get to know local students and to kind of get a little taste of the French education system. Sorry, let me close my email here. So the other cool aspect you can add to your program is our teaching internship. So you could do that in place of a class. And this is a really great opportunity, not just for education students, but if you've thought about like teaching abroad after college, this is a good way to kind of get your feet wet. You'll be in a class as a teaching assistant to an English teacher in either primary or secondary school. And you get to go to class every week and kind of learn how to develop a lesson plan and things like that. And I personally taught abroad after college as just a way to travel more and kind of figure out where I wanted to go with my career path. And I know there's a very popular teaching program in France for French speakers called TAPIF. So the teaching internship could be a really good kind of practice run, or even something to write about in like a Fulbright essay or something like that as well. So it's a popular course with our students. And again, it replaces one of your classes and you get credit for it. So now I'm going to share a video that one of our students took in Nantes. I'm not going to play the whole thing just because it's kind of long, but just to give you a sense of what the city looks like and a little bit of the student experience. So that was just a little taste of Nantes, and of course the students also, go to Paris for the weekend. And the other thing I wanted to share about our Nantes program is that our students do live in homestays, which is a really great way to also practice your French. Obviously, like the French that you speak in the classroom is going to be a little bit different than the French that, real local French people actually speak in their houses. So you get a little exposure to practice listening, how they kind of like blend their words together or use more colloquial language. So that's a really cool piece of our Nantes program as well. And most students like get really close to their hosts and stay in touch years later. We hear stories of like them going to weddings with their host family and things like that. So it's a really great way to form that relationship. So the other program I want to share today is our Paris Summer Language Immersion program, and this is a really popular program with Ohio State students. It's a way to live in Paris for 6 weeks over the summer, and it's open to students at varying French language levels. So as early as 2 semesters of French experience, students are coming on this program, and it goes all the way to students who have had 6 or more semesters of French. So you'll take 6 credits of French over the summer, and the courses you take will depend a little bit on the level that you come into the program with. So if you're at more of like the 2 or 3 semester level, you'll take 6 credits of just an intensive language course that's going to do more grammar and cover, like almost 2 semesters worth of French. If you come in at a little bit higher level, 4 or 5 semesters, you'll take 1 course in French grammar, which would be 3 credits, and then your second course will be an area studies course, which is kind of what I mentioned in Nantes, where it could be literature, film, history, and of course it's taught in French. Also, again, this is a center-based program, so your classmates are other IES abroad students who come from colleges and universities in the US. And then your professors typically are native speakers, French or European individuals who also maybe work at some universities in Paris. Like in Nantes, you do have the option to live in a homestay. Again, those really cool bonds that you can form with your host. But if you prefer to live with other IES abroad students, we also have the apartment option. So either way, you'll be using French in and out of the classroom and just really finding how much your French improves. Just being surrounded by it. You'll even find that you start to think in French, like as you're, just going about your day. That happened to me when I did a French program in high school. I was even just there for 2 weeks, but I lived with a family, and you're just hearing it all the time that you start to think like, how would I say this? What word is this? So you'll really surprise yourself how much French you pick up and how much you enjoy using that. And of course, Paris is, just a city that students love to explore. There's so many neighborhoods, so many museums. So while you're on the program, we'll do like little excursions to different areas of the city, to markets, to see street art, all different types of, just kind of informal activities to help you, just scratch the surface of all that Paris has to offer. So now I have just a short video about Paris to share with you. So I mentioned a little bit about scholarships and financial aid. But I just wanted to reiterate a little bit more about what we have to offer. So for those of you who might be thinking about the Nantes program, I have really good news for you. You're eligible for our public university grant, which is an automatic $2,000 discount off of your semester program. Now that only applies to semester programs with IES abroad, so it's not applicable to the Paris summer program, but for both programs, in addition to the grant, we have other scholarship opportunities as well, and students apply online. Typically, it's good to apply around the same time that you're doing your IES application, and you'll have a chance to, kind of look at a budgeting sheet and use those scholarships towards your program fees as well. I also mentioned that we have a diversity team. This is really helpful if you're thinking about like how you might continue to practice your religion abroad, if you're wondering about what it might be like to be an LGBTQ+ student in Paris or in Nantes, or if you're thinking about how you're going to find like the hair care products or something else that you need abroad. Our diversity team has put together a bunch of resources that might help address some of these questions, or if you can't find what you're looking for, they will help you search and do some one-on-one research and advising with you. So we have two team members who work specifically on our diversity initiatives, and I can put you in touch with them if you'd like, or you can visit the website iesabroad.org/diversity to kind of see the social identity resources we have and get in touch to help more specifically with questions that you might have. So now thinking about your next steps of how you're going to get to Paris or how you're going to get to Nantes, before you're buying that plane ticket, we want to just make sure that you're going through working with your study abroad office on campus, as well as with your academic advisor. Just make sure that you're planning ahead. It's going to be really helpful to think about how study abroad fits into your academic plan. Start thinking as early as your first year so that you can plan accordingly and make sure that you have a chance to have that experience. You also you'll first do an application through Ohio State, and then you'll also apply through the IES Abroad website. For our application, there's no application fee and it's not binding, but we'll ask for your approval from Ohio State once you've kind of done their whole process. And that's a good way to also kind of keep up with any questions that you have through both the study abroad office on campus and through your IES advisor. We're both there to help, and we kind of cover some slightly different things. So we're both there to answer questions you have throughout the process. And then other resources I just wanted to mention. We actually have an IES Abroad ambassador who went on the Nantes program, who's from Ohio State. So if you wanted to get in touch with her, just kind of hear about her experience, specifically from a student, from your campus. Her contact is on the IES Abroad website. There's a way to contact a past participant. We also have a blogger from our Paris program who went to Ohio State. And so Rose, you can find her blog if you go to our blogs section, and you can search her name or search by Ohio State and just kind of follow along the post that she did. She did one really cool one that was like 6 free things to do in Paris, which is great because there's a lot to do and you want to take advantage of the ones that don't cost you anything. Yeah, so outside of that, I'm just going to put up my contact information on the next slide so that you're able to reach out if you want more information or want to talk about your specific situations. And I'll leave you with this here. If you have questions, we're happy to take those as well.
Thank you so much, Emily. This is Louise Yowie, the Education Abroad Specialist who works with Emily at Ohio State to promote the IES programs that we have to Paris and to Nantes. So thank you, Emily. That was really comprehensive information for anybody who's thinking about traveling to France this coming year. A couple of points when it comes to the application process at Ohio State is that you do need to meet the Ohio State deadlines. You may look at the IES website and see some slightly different dates based on when the application is due, but we do ask that you have submitted both of the applications. So that's the Ohio State one at educationabroad.osu.edu and the IES application by the date which is listed on the Ohio State Education Abroad website. Now, all of these programs that are offered here are for academic credit. They are academically rigorous, and you will receive graded Ohio State credit in the form of a transcript, which will then be applied to your record here at Ohio State. The transcript is evaluated by the Department of French and the College of Arts and Sciences, and your grades will appear one semester after the semester that you study abroad in. Very often it's much sooner because IES are efficient, and so we receive their grades very quickly. But just to give you some reassurance when you're planning for graduation, that your grades will post before you actually need to petition to graduate. The transcript is an official transcript. It does come through IES securely to our office. You will be requesting the transcript when you actually apply to Ohio State for the acceptance into this program, and also to IES for acceptance to this program. You will confirm who you want the transcript to be sent to, and that is to our office, to the Education Abroad office. We do ask that for all students who are interested in IES programs, that they're aware that the programs that Emily just spoke about, to Paris and Nantes, are the only two that we currently approve for French language. There are other IES options around the world, but as of now, the IES options available for students who are taking French language courses at Ohio State are based in Paris and Nantes. Emily's contact information is on the screen, as you can see. My information can be found at the educationabroad.osu.edu website. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either of us. We're very responsive. But otherwise, thank you for listening to this webinar, and we hope to hear from you very soon. Emily, thank you so much for presenting.
Awesome, thank you.
Bye-bye.